right, Abuja, Nigeria. It's 107.7 and Forces Radio, the authentic dial. Yes, we are streaming live on the serene beautiful hills of Mogadishu Cantonment in the Rock City, Abuja, Nigeria. Once again, welcome to the program CASIS, the campaign against suffering in silence from the General Ibrahim Atahiru Foundation. It is a mental health and psychosocial support program for the military and paramilitary personnel, those who are suffering from PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder, and other traumatic situations. And of course, it helps to, bring succor to a lot of people who have keyed into it, and a lot of people, have been benefiting from it. And of course, don't forget that information is power. And where would you rightly get it? You'll get it right now on the program, CASIS, the campaign against suffering in silence. And of course, we have our regular guest in the studio, Dr. Isa Hamza. Isa, it's good to have you once again, sir, on the show.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Morning.
All right, going straight up into the topic of today. Once again, it's the new year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Abuja, Nigeria, and Happy New Year, Dr. Hamza.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's go straight up into the topic of the day, that is combat or operational stress. To begin with, Doctor, what is combat or operational stress?
Yeah. Good morning, once more. When we talk about combat stress, we are talking about the activities that tend to affect, the activities that tend to affect the mental health or the well-being of our serving personnel. For example, the activities that at the end of the day, it has a negative impact on their own well-being, most especially their mental health well-being. An example is like a stressful operation, so to speak, that at the end of the operation, it leaves them traumatized.
Okay.
And sometimes they tend to become depressed, after that. And some, depending on the nature of the operation as well, it has the ability of destabilizing their own emotional well-being.
Okay.
So that is what we actually mean about this thing, combat stress.
All right, combat stress. Okay, that means for the military personnel who have gone into the field, and then come back and start having, fatigue and all of that from what they went through.
Certainly.
Is it necessary, Doctor, for any or every military or paramilitary personnel who has been engaged, in all of these activities to actually come down with combat stress?
Yes, it is possible.
Okay.
It is possible. The reason here is that, the level of professionalism is actually different from level of the technical know-how of the personnel.
Okay.
You understand? And sometimes the technical know-how goes along with the person's personality.
All right.
Now, let me give you an example. If there is let's say an extraction operation, and maybe the operation didn't actually, or the person has not prepared properly for the operation, like when we talk about preparing, not the physical preparation, the psychological preparation as well. Then during the operation, one or two things might have happened that will leave the person to become a little bit emotionally unstable, like maybe guilt or something, So at the end of the day, if the person comes back home, the concurrent distant flashbacks,
yes.
On that has the ability to affect his own. Now, the difference between the combat stress and the PTSD is that the combat stress is for a short period of time. You understand?
Okay.
And it is also manageable. The combat stress, the person, the personnel has the ability to manage it himself without going to a professional per se, depending on how severe the stress is. Because there are some ways and some methods that, adaptive methods we call them, that the personnel will try to put or include into his own lifestyle that will also help in reducing that combat stress, which is also very important.
All right, beautiful one. Okay, doctor, just like this program, is actually targeted for military personnel, paramilitary personnel, the dependents, their families. It also, cuts across and is open, to every other person in the society, civilians.
Yes.
I want to take myself as an example. I don't know, should I say I'm actually, suffering from this post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't want to say that, but I just have this issue when you go on social media platforms and you've been shown all these bloody scenes and all of that. I just have this images over time, flashing back and, having this guilt, like, I was a part of this, having experienced this, you just put yourself in that picture and, it starts having ripple effect on you. Would you say the person's actually suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder? Or?
No, well, in that case...
And how can one, who's having such issues deal with it?
Well, in that case, we are talking about operational stress.
Okay.
For you.
Okay, operational stress.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it is, if you notice, most of the times, maybe the stressor might have been just for a short period of time.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So you see, it is actually different from PTSD.
Okay.
So, and your question again, how can one manage it? It depends on the activities. That is why sometimes we advise some people to hit the gym. You understand?
Okay.
And like for our personnels, sometimes I give them the advice of getting a punching bag. You understand? Because if it persists for a longer period of time, it might become a PTSD. You understand? So the inability to address it at its own cradle stage, it is what will make it escalate subsequently. When you go for the operation, and that is for the military and paramilitary personnel, and it goes sideways, or you have a lot of negative, or you've experienced a lot of hostility. You come back, you throw it on the punching bag.
Yeah.
Or you go to the
relieve yourself.
Exactly. And this therapeutic method is not just for the military and paramilitary personnel.
Okay.
Any other person that if you're going through your work it tends to be a little bit tedious, and you are absorbing a lot of energies. You can come, most especially negative energy, you can come and just get a punching bag for yourself, or you can hit the gym. You just go take one or two lifts and things like that.
The handball. Yes. Okay. Just press to relieve yourself.
Yes. Like another thing here, you see, I've been into martial art for almost 30 years.
Wow.
Yes, karate for almost 30 years and mixed martial art. So whenever there is something like that, I sometimes ask people to go for a yoga if it has to do like operational stress, because calming down the mind, serenity of the mind is the most paramount, if you're dealing with the operational stress. All of this yoga, or like for our own, you do, we call them katas.
Yes.
You do the formal exercise in martial art and things like that. Or for them, the military personnel that they have boxing or taekwondo or things like that, go and train. And the advantage here is that the more you train, the more you have the technical know-how on how to handle events in the field.
When they're full.
Yes, you are also improving your own personal skills. You are relinquishing the negative energy on the punching bag or on the exercise or let's say the obstacle crossing, but at the same time, you are covering your own response time.
Okay.
So if you happen to be on the field again, your own performance is going to be better than the previous performance.
Absolutely.
So you see, it's like a win-win thing for the individual.
All right. Okay, it's 107.7 and Forces Radio, the authentic dial. right here in Mogadishu Cantonment, and we are on the program Campaign Against Suffering in Silence, CASIS, from the General Ibrahim Atahiru Foundation. Like I said, it's a mental health and psychosocial support program for the military and paramilitary personnel, those who are suffering from PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder, and other traumatic situations. Aside giving support to the military and paramilitary personnel, it's also open, to civilians, individuals everywhere in the society. And today's topic is on combat or operational stress. Like I said, we have Dr. Isa Hamza Isa, a clinical psychologist in the studio. He's here to, answer your questions. You have questions, you feel, you've been stressed over time and you don't know how to deal with it. You can actually call the numbers right now. You can drop in your comments and your questions on 08063 963 Once again, 08063 963 is the number to call in, drop your comments, and ask your questions. Don't forget the topic is still combat or operational stress. All right, doctor, do the military and paramilitary experience combat and operational stress?
Oh, definitely.
And how often, do you think this can actually happen, and the effects on them when this happens?
Well, yes, they do experience the combat stress as well, and the operational stress. Aside from going to the field, maybe working in the office and things like that, and can also lead to the operational stress, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now, the point here is their level of training, will show people that they have the ability to like, let's say, absorb the energy, you understand, when it comes in, because, usually combat stress is just for a short period of time. But the unfortunate thing here for some is that when they are being exposed to those kind of stressors, some of them result into taking some shots or taking one or two substance, to calm down the stress. Yeah. But we are here to let them know that
is not necessary.
That is not necessary. You can just get yourself into, like, let's say, register yourself in a gym, or you can just go into the barracks gym. You can just walk in. There are a lot of equipments. You can make use of those equipments to relieve those stress or stressors that the negative stressors that are around you. Yeah. Now, aside from that, the operational stress here is that, you see, like what I said the other time, the me time that we are talking about. Yeah. The me time is very, very important, because after your own activity, like let's say you close by 4, an example, you will have, it is advisable for you to have, like, let's say 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes of self-reflection. You understand? Just like a meditation. Okay, where did I go wrong today? Okay, how can I cope with that? If there is a lot of negativity in your own
activities
for that day, then you can actually, okay, now I know the source, I know how it has happened.
I know how to avoid it.
I know how to avoid it for the next day, So if the thought, continues, then there's the need for you to just take a walk, a long walk. You can take your partner to just go around, take a walk, or you can even be thinking, you can be meditating and taking a walk, processing a lot of things as you are taking that walk. Yeah. Or if you notice that it is too much for you to handle, then you can talk to someone. When it is too much for you to handle and you can't actually think of a positive way to resolve that particular issue, the first thing here is, we talked about support network the other time. Yeah. The first thing here is you talk to the elderly person who has the experience on that particular field. He might have gone through that particular event over and over and over again. How has he been coping? You understand? So it's like a mentorship. You get that mentor, or like what they say in the military setting, Godfather.
Okay,
you
yeah.
understand?
Yes.
You get that mentor. You can ask him all of those things, and if he's free, he can explain it to you. And being a professional as a superior officer, there is that that cognitive ability to be able to impart the knowledge positively, even in the course of conversation and things like that. If that doesn't work, then you are free, of course, to reach out to us as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, then we will discuss on the matter.
All right, the numbers are still open. Like I said, you can call in, drop your comments, and ask your questions. We still have Dr. Isa Hamza Isa, clinical psychologist, here in the studio to take your questions. 08063 963 08063 963 Let's see, we have a call here. Hello? All right, we lost the call. Please do call back. 08063 963 Okay, let's see, we have a message. It says, good morning. Thank you very much for this program. It is a very, very informative program. And kudos to the General Ibrahim Foundation. All right. Thank you so much, No Name. Please, next time you drop in a question or a comment, you add your name so we take it just as it is. Don't forget the numbers are still 08063 963 643. All right. Yes. Doctor, you mentioned, you said there are different ways, you can actually be relieved from combat operational stress as a military personnel who has gone through, various activities on the field. So now the question is, aside, you mentioned going on exercise, hitting the gym and all of that. Aside that, which other methods, can be applied? Because you mentioned going on the gym, exercise, talking to a godfather, talking to a godfather or someone who is quite experienced, Aside that, any other way, just in case you're not able to get that available, immediately?
There's this thing that we call positive reinforcer.
Okay, positive reinforcer.
Yes, the positive reinforcer, they are things we do to appreciate ourselves. Some people will say, the negative, let me tell you about the negative one. Some will say, I will take a shot, those are negative reinforcers. Let me go to a club or take a drink but the positive reinforcers are things, activities that you enjoy doing, like for instance, playing a video game. You understand?
Yeah.
And having a nice conversation with a spouse.
She's chatting with friends.
She's chatting with a friend, It mustn't actually be about the specifics of your own operation. You can just chat about something you like. You can bring back maybe a childhood memory and call a friend. And
beautiful childhood
yes,
memories.
And you start talking about it, you laugh. So the thing here is you need a lot of positive energy when you are going through a combat or operational stress, because that is what will get you through that particular phase and prepare you for the next phase, and which is very, very important.
Absolutely.
But your inability to come out, or a person's inability to come out from that particular phase, and being assigned with another task again, which also comes with its own stress, it will become a problematic for the person subsequently.
Absolutely.
So these are the kind of, so aside from talking to a partner, the chit chat, you can play a game. Aside from playing a game, you can watch a movie. You watch a movie.
Nice movies.
Yeah, nice
not
movies.
Yeah, not horror
well,
movies.
it will interest you to know that. Some people actually like watching horror movies.
Yeah, absolutely. But don't you think that will even cause more, negative effects?
No, it depends on the person's personality.
Okay.
Like I said, we all have our shock absorber varies. You know, that is why someone, if a person becomes too emotional, you know, sometimes you see some people crying, shedding tears.
Yeah.
You know, like the white people, the next thing is they start throwing up. You know, so everybody has his own way of adjusting and coping with stress.
All right.
So coping with stress or methods of coping with that particular kind of a stress, sometimes they need that the adrenaline rush, like zombies, you know. So that is why they like that. Some people like chocolates. You understand, the dark chocolates. I can tell you that.
Also,
works.
people even like eating. You know?
Eating, exactly.
Eating
Now, the problem with the eating here is that if it becomes a binge eating, the person doesn't actually know about his own dieting, you know, or the person is not on dieting.
You get overweight.
Exactly, you know, and it might lead to a stomach upset, and he's to go back to another operation tomorrow.
All right, let's see. I think we have a message here. Hello. Okay, we have a call. Hello. 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 Oh no, please do call back 08063963643. 08063963643 is the number to call in. Drop your text messages. Let's see, we have a message here. This one says, good morning to you, Shanti, and the doctor in the studio. For me, working as a medical practitioner, how can I relieve stress easily? Mrs. Omoshola. All right, Mrs. Omoshola said. All right, just before we take the question of Mrs. Omoshola, let's just take a message quickly, and then when we come back, we go straight back to the questions and the topic of the day. Are you paranoid or dealing with self-destructive behaviors such as sleep disorder, anger issues, drug and alcohol abuse? These are possible symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder or other traumatic experiences. The General Ibrahim Atahiru Foundation presents Campaign Against Suffering in Silence, CASIS. CASIS provides professional mental health, psychosocial support and non-judgmental services to serving and retired military, paramilitary and their families. For more info, call 091 27 95 0177. Again, 091 27 95 0177. Along onto our website, www.atahirufoundation.org. On Instagram is at Atahiru_foundation. Twitter at GIA_foundation. Facebook at Tahiru_foundation. YouTube at Tahiru Foundation. The General Ibrahim Atahiru Foundation, promoting mental health and social well-being. All right, Abuja, Nigeria. If you just tuned in, absolutely you made the right choice. You are on the program CASIS, the Campaign Against Suffering in Silence, from the General Ibrahim Atahiru Foundation. It is a mental health and psychosocial support program for the military and paramilitary personnel. And, it's actually targeted for those who are suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And like I said earlier, lots and lots of people have been benefiting from it. Just like I said, information is power. So getting the right information at the right time is key. And that's why we bring it to you every Friday, 10 a.m. on the dot. And we have Dr. Isa Hamza in the studio. And the topic has been combat operational stress. Doctor, just briefly, the meaning of combat operational stress before we go to the question of Mrs. Omoshola. Okay. Just briefly, for someone who just joined in.
Okay. Combat or operational stress are those stressful activities that has a negative impact on our own well-being, most especially on our own mental health. The activities we do, our day-to-day activities at our workplaces or or in the field during operations, that has a way of affecting our own emotion negatively. All right. So that is our combat operation.
So back to Mrs. Omoshola's question. As a medical practitioner, how can she relieve stress, easily? Yes.
The first thing here is being a medical professional. If the exercise or all of those things doesn't actually are not applicable to her, then I can tell you that taking at least an hour sleep is going to be very, very helpful.
Okay.
Relaxing the brain, and after relaxing the brain, there's this it works actually. It varies for a lot of people. Taking a nice shower, feeling the drip of the shower on your skin, closing your eyes, like meditating in the shower. It also helps significantly. It's also another therapeutic way of handling that particular. And as you are doing it, you are thinking of possible ways to adapt, and to cope. But if it persists, I keep on saying this, if it persists, it is much advisable for you to reach out to a professional. But for her, I can see having a nice sleep, a very nice shower. If she usually takes her shower for like 10 minutes, or I can advise you to go for even 20 or 30
minutes.
Just be in the shower, allow the water to touch your body and
thinking well.
Think exactly, and take deep breaths, And this is the breathing exercise is very important, because it helps in regulating our own cardiovascular system, but we don't actually know much about that. So the breathing exercise, as you are taking the shower, learn how to breathe in, inhale and exhale. The breathing exercise as well. So after the shower, you come back, wear something very light, lie down and sleep.
All right, doctor. Okay, just because of time, this one, how can family members, colleagues, and the public do to help? And how can family members, colleagues, and commanders do to help? That, the servicemen also be involved, in helping combat this.
Yes, and this is very, very important, because like the superior officers, like the commandants, after each operations, there's the debriefing. You understand?
Debriefing?
Yes, it is very important for you to sit down with your junior officers. You understand?
Okay.
Or the people who might have taken part in the operation, give them a positive advice and commendations, this is how you did well, and this. If there are some errors, make them understand the errors in a positive way. And
don't condemn them.
Yes, don't condemn them. You understand? Because they being on the field and going out, carrying that task along with you, you as the superior officer, being a superior, it shows that you have the ability, your cognitive ability is a little bit higher than theirs. So it is very important for you to sit down and discuss with them, have a chit chat with them. Like I can tell you, in some of the advanced countries, after the operation, you say the superior officer will say, "I'm taking you out." You understand?
Yeah.
I can tell you about one officer that I know then in Kaduna. After operation or something, you see, fish and what do you call it? Chips on me. Nobody should take more than 2,000 naira.
Yes.
You understand? And
that's
you
the way of releasing.
Exactly.
Yes.
And if you see, once he calls, you see how they will come and rally around him, and wherever he goes, they go. You understand?
Yeah.
So you being a superior officer, and for the family members as well, it is important for you to know that the family, it is important for you to understand the nature and accept the nature of your spouses or your family members' work. You understand?
Yeah.
So as long as the person comes back, welcome the person warmly and give that person a very nice shower. Feed him food and give him his own time to
space,
rest. Yes.
Don't start bombarding.
Exactly. If there are kids, go and play in the parlor. Allow your daddy to rest.
Allow your mom rest.
Or allow your mom to rest. You understand?
Yeah.
It is very important. So because if if after the rest and everything, he's going to have a lot of positive energy, and you're going to have a very stable family as well.
Oh no, we're having calls already. We can take them because of time. Okay, yes. And the general public, yes.
Yes, well, the general public, we have to understand that we have to be our brother's keepers. You know, like the military and paramilitary personnel, they are there to protect our lives and properties. So we don't have to make work very difficult for them. If we are in a checking point, they ask us, we submit ourselves for scrutiny, no problem. If you have nothing to hide, or if you notice that there is anything or there is anything suspicious, feel free to reach out to the
All right,
security
Doc, we're still having messages, but because of time, we can go further. I'll just take this one, and then perhaps for next week you treat it. It says, good morning, Doc. My name is Mohammed from Sunrise Hills. My question is, Doc, is hardly sleep and I'm having reclusiveness. I need your advice. God bless the Nigerian Army. All right. Okay. I think for this question, it will be for next week because of time. All right. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in on the program Campaign Against Suffering in Silence, CASIS from the General Ibrahim Tahiru Foundation. Like I said, information is power, and getting information, the right information at the right time is key. So join us same time, 10 a.m. next week, Friday, on the program CASIS, the Campaign Against Suffering in Silence. Thanks very much to all those who sent in the text messages, and those still sending, and those still trying to call in. Because of time, we can go further. Thank you once again, Dr. Isa Hamza, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Abuja, Nigeria is a wrap on the program CASIS. To join us, like I said, same time, same station, next week, Friday, 10 a.m. on the dot. I remain your host, Thelma Okukun. Have good Friday.